All right, so microphone check 1 2 1 2. I hope that this volume's all right. Whatever, I'm just gonna go with this video. Um, so what I'm doing in this video is I am attempting to not act as though I am being recorded again. And I did this before in the past, and it's really hard to some people, when they're filming themselves and when they're on camera, they can just not really think about I'm being filmed or I'm filming myself. And you think a little different when you know that you're recording yourself or you're doing what you're doing. It isn't like when you're just there with yourself, by yourself, and nobody's around and how you think or talk or do whatever you do. But I want to, this is a follow up from Rita McLeod's channel, the video Still Operational. I want to discuss, I want to follow up what he was saying in his video for myself and what I think about what he was saying in the video for myself, how I see things. So, what I want to start off with is I myself am someone that I understand also that I will never fit into the social zeitgeist that we find ourselves in today, and how most of us, we're way too focused on how we are perceived by the world and how the world perceives us. And we focus on how can I look this way, or how can I get them to think of me this way or that way? And that does not work for me. That doesn't work for me at all. It doesn't work for me. It just puts more pressure on me to be something that I'm really not. And getting into this, it's very hard for me to just get right into these videos, because if I just like kind of speak how I speak, it's going to seem kind of weird, and that maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But I was always this guy where I never ever wanted to hold back how I really felt and how I feel, and I don't hold back how I really feel about things. And you hear people today talking about don't tell people what you're thinking, don't let people know where you're going or what you're doing, keep things a secret. You know, it's like all these things people try to tell you what not to do or how to be. And to me, it's all absurd. It's all absurdity to the fullest. And like he was saying in the video, like Rita was saying in his video, there are sometimes I myself, I don't know what to feel sometimes either. I don't know. There are some days where I am simply going by whatever is happening right now and how I feel. And in order to express that, when I'm by myself, yeah, I can express all these things when I'm by myself, of course. Nobody's ever going to see it. Nobody's ever going to know it. Nobody's ever going to be there to know that I even said the words that I'm saying right now. But the thing with me is, you know, I also have this kind of disgust in me for certain things, like things that are not real, things that are set up, things that are phony, things that are trying to be what they're not. And then I also have some disgust of how humanity really goes about doing some of the things that humanity does, and how people do some of the things they do. I have a type of misanthropic side also, but I'm not someone that just wants to hate people. You see what I'm saying? I give every individual a chance to be who they are, to be themselves. You know, I don't force anybody to say something they don't want to say or do something they don't want to do. It has to be the freeness of the person to do whatever they do. But what am I saying here? This all goes, see, as I talk, you got to stick with me because it's all leading to my point, what I'm going for to get at. But what I would say for me is always let your yes be yes and your no be no. You see, I've always been this guy where this is just a few examples that I'm going to give you. I can't give you every little thing that goes on in my head. I have to just give you one thing at a time to make you understand how I am. I always been this guy where I have always been looking for true intimacy. I have always been looking for connection and to have a mission in life, to do something, to do something that I'm compassionate about. And I always wanted to, I'm this guy that when I wake up in the morning, I want to have either a woman or women next to me that are, she comes up and goes, hey baby, how you doing this morning? And they're there, or they're like, hey, I got you, I cooked you something that I got in the microwave, or I'm, whatever. Like they're there for you, and I don't make any qualms about it. That's how I really would like to wake up, is to have women around me that are like, hey honey, how you doing today? And they're into me. They are interested in me as a person. And that's how I really feel about it. So I'm speaking it out loud. There's no reason to keep it to myself. But also, if I wake up and I'm not in the mood and I say, look, baby, not right now. All right, not right now. Then she knows to say, okay, all right, honey, I'll leave you alone. All right, baby. And she understands that my no is no and my yes is yes. See, it's a respect thing. It's a respect thing going on there. And this is just one example that I'm giving you. I'm just giving you one example of what I mean. It's a respecting each other's boundaries, respecting each other's wishes, respecting each other's will to do whatever we're doing, or if we're not in the mood or we're in the mood. Like if I'm not in the mood, I'm going to tell you, look, not right now. No. And we take that as the answer. We don't question it. You see, and that's just one thing that I'm trying to get across here. But I always been this guy that I always wanted to be with people that understand that when you don't want something, you don't want something. Or when you want something, you don't have to force them to want it. They just automatically want it. And then to let it go with the flow. You just let things go with the flow. And what am I getting at here? It's very hard for me to describe what I mean and how I am as a person. It's like, I am not going to hold back what I really need to say or what I really want to say to a person or how I really want something to be. But it's very hard to find women and men that are people that are compassionate about one another, that really care for one another, that really, even when you're not there with them, you're saying to them, look, wherever you are, I'm there with you. I'm there with you in spirit, so to speak. I'll just say spirit because I don't know any other word to use. But I am there with you at all times in your feelings of nothing, in your days of misery, or your rainy days, or your days where you might be feeling a little more operational, or you might be I don't know, whatever it is you're going through, it doesn't matter because I am going to be there with you. I don't care what the rest of society is saying. I don't care what people think about how I am doing something. And see, if we're not thinking like this as a people, then what we're doing is we're going by the social zeitgeist of what everybody else is doing and how everybody else is thinking and how everyone else says you should or you shouldn't do this. No, 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 no. See, this whole thing is like a construct that once I broke it down, I finally realized what it comes to is it comes from kind of a fear in us to not really say what is on our minds. Like there's something that Albert Einstein said. He said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Now, I agree with that. I understand his point of view when he was saying what he was saying. I understand his point of view when he was saying what he said. What he means is if you have all this knowledge like we have, like I have, and you have no imagination, or you have no way of putting that out, or you have no way of having other people that understand that with you, you have no way to express it how you really want to express it. Or when you don't want to do anything, you don't have to do anything. And you're around people that understand that right now is not the time for me to do anything. Respect my boundary. See, respect my boundaries. And now what he should have said, if you ask me, he should have said, not that he should have, I'm just saying, you can think of this one of many ways. You can interpret this one of many different ways. He said that imagination is more important than knowledge. No, I think he should have said knowledge and imagination is important in the context of each other coexisting with one another. You see what I'm saying? Knowledge and I have a thing about the thing being in the middle. I don't like being offside. I'm kind of a perfectionist in that way. But imagination is very important. It's a very important thing if you ask me. Imagination is something that if you lose sight of imagination in this world, it's almost like you're not really even living your life if you ask me. Knowledge, yes, it's important, but you will understand over time that knowledge is something that is not going to fulfill you. It's not going to fulfill you as a person. Knowledge, you can have all this knowledge. You can know scientific things. You can know the elemental table. You can know how humankind is. You can know how people react and when people are doing whatever they're doing and why they respond. Just on and on and on. You can understand agriculture. You can understand tradition. And see, you got to understand, I'm going to lose train of thought in these videos because this is what being free actually means. You're going to lose train of thought when you're a free person, when you're actually speaking your mind. See, because I'm not going by any set thing. I'm not trying to make this video anything for anyone. I'm not trying to fit into that league of social standards, or I should or I shouldn't say this, or I need to say this, or I shouldn't say that. It's just, if we would just listen to each other and we would respect each other's boundaries and we would be there for one another when the time is right. But then again, like Rita said in his video, I also have this kind of, it's a very strange feeling. I have this kind of disgust in me for certain things that I cannot tolerate, that I can't hack, that I can't come to make myself accept or live with. And then this is when it's up to other people respecting the boundaries. It's up to other people to understand that it's just not for me. It's not my thing. And whatever's not your thing, whatever, whatever your wishes are, I respect and I bow to your wishes. See, it's almost like having a reverence for one another. See, I think we have lost sight in our lives of a reverence for one another. And I want to say this because I am not keeping it a secret. I'm not keeping my life a secret. I am not keeping my thoughts a secret. I am not doing that. That's not how I'm living my life, because that's stupid. Who am I going to be able to share my most deepest things with? Who am I going to be able to share how I really feel with? Who am I going to be able to be intimate with? Who am I going to be able to have connections with if I don't actually say what I really want to say and how I really feel? But I want to tell those of you out there that you might not know how to say this, and I don't really know how to say it either, but I want to say that I do revere you. I do revere you as a person. Every time that I watch other people and I look at other people and I hear other people, I revere them. But there's also the part that I revere them only when they're being honest, only when they're telling me how they really feel, only when they are saying, look, my no is no and my yes is yes. Respecting the boundaries again, you see? And I've always had this for people. I've always had this reverence for just people being what they already are. You don't have to be any more than what you are. If you have knowledge, great. If you have an imagination, great. Then put that into something. Put that into an art. Put that into a craft. Put that into what you're compassionate about. See, the thing that is the reason that we are not living the lives we want to live. The reason, now I'm not saying this is all the reason. I'm not saying that the pieces are just going to magically come together. But what would we rather it be? Would we rather it just, for the rest of our lives, be complete shit and just the things that we really want we don't get? Or are we going to start being honest with ourselves and each other and revere each other for the things that we know that we can do while we can do them? And we can respect each other's boundaries. You see what I'm saying? And yet again, I'm losing train of thought because I can't keep the thought going for where I'm going because it's so in the moment. It's so in the now that it is the purest form of love that I know. It is the purest form of my true self that I know, that I'm not putting the wool over your eye. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm not attempting to tell you to be some way. I'm not putting pressure on you. But at the same time, see, I revere you until you start doing something really stupid or you start disrespecting me or yourself. And then I got to say, look, man, you're doing that thing you're doing to yourself again. You don't need to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And we all put up this front and this wall with each other. And we don't get to the point. We don't get to the thing. We don't let the thing be known. It's like How are you really feeling? Let that be known. If you're not feeling anything, then you're not feeling anything. It's okay. It's all right. There's no pressure that needs to be put on you or me to try to be. And this is what I kind of lost sight of this, because this is what I was talking about in some of my older videos, and something happened to where I kind of got led away from myself, because I started trying to be like what I thought other people wanted me to be like. I got back to this thing where I said, I got to try to fit into this place, or I got to, and it wasn't even that I was trying to do that. I wasn't trying to do that. I was just like, something's wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. The mental things that go on with me, and I'm speaking for myself because I can't speak for you. You see, I can't speak for y'all. I can only speak for myself. But this should relate. You see what I'm saying? And this is what matters. This is what matters in our life, is that we can relate. When I say no, I mean no. Respect my boundary, and I will respect your boundary. See, we should be focused on words like this: respect for one another, compassion for one another, respecting each other's boundaries, loyalty, honesty. But yet in that, it's not saying that there aren't going to be times where I'm going to have to say, look, I'm going to have to give you a hard no, like no. And people that don't have this state of mind, and they're still so caught up in the social zeitgeist of everything, and they're still worrying about what the world thinks of them, and they're displaying this thing that's going on, that they're trying to make people, they're like, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing, and look at me. You know, don't I fit in? But that's not really them. That's not really them. And the only thing that I am concerned with is what is real. The only thing that I am concerned with is being honest. The only thing that I am concerned with is having a reverence in my life for myself and for other people, and being able to reflect that reverence back on to one another and to each other, for each other, with each other. And why? Why do we run from that? Why do we try to act as if that is not what we need in our lives? Why do we keep doing this? I keep hearing people say, you know, detach from the world, detach from people, detach from everything, detach yourself. That's just going to leave you more in a place by yourself, with yourself. And then all it's going to be doing is you by yourself speaking about others that are by themselves, and you're acting as if there's not something missing there, or there's something that is within you that you know is in you, but you don't feel like you can express because you're in fear of that thing. And that fear, see, love, true love drives out all fear. See, I didn't understand this. I did not understand this until a little bit ago in my life. That where there is true compassion and love for something, it drives out all that fear. It drives out that spirit of And I don't mean any of this new age nonsense that people are speaking. I am not no new age spiritual guy. I don't have a problem when people do whatever they do. And I'm not going to get into that because that's not important. That's just going to throw me off thought. See, that's me trying to explain something that I don't need to explain or get into because it's not me. It's not what I am. It doesn't make me who I am. But that's what it means to see. Once you understand that, you can never go back to wearing the mask. You cannot go back to putting on the facade for the world anymore. You can't try to be what you're not no more for people. And if we would rest in this, if we would rest in this, whether you believe in God or not, is irrelevant to what I'm saying right now. But it's saying this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between all these things. That is serenity. That is letting your yes be yes and your no be no. And when something is going how it's going, okay, it's going how it's going, and that's fine. You see, if I wake up in the morning and the girl comes up and goes, "Hey, honey, how you doing, baby?" And then, we give each other a kiss. Let's just say, for example, okay, that day I might be really into that and feeling it. Then the next day I might wake up and say, "Not right now, just not right now." But we'll get back to it eventually. You see, it isn't this thing where we're forcing each other to do or to be or to say or to act. Because love does not force anybody to do anything. Love does not, and I am talking about, if you want me to be honest with you, I am talking about a love that is not of this earth right now. It's just not, because I really think we all have it in us, but we're not letting it come to the forefront. We're not bringing it out. We're not letting it blossom, and then when it dies, letting it die. See, it's like the seasons. The spring comes, and then the fall comes, and it shrivels and dies again. And it's okay, because that's the cycle of life. That's how life is. There's going to be times where you're going to say yes, and there's going to be times where you're going to say no. There's going to be times where you're going to want that intimacy, and you're going to want that pleasure, and you're going to want that time. And then there's going to be a time where you're kind of like, not right now. It's not the time. Leave me alone right now. I need my space. Respecting each other's, whatever I was saying from before. See, because I'm making it so raw, I'm making it so real, I'm making it so in the moment right now that I am not putting a gate up between me and you. The reverence for one another. If that does not mean something, if this does not mean something, what I am saying right now, here, right now, then nothing means anything. Nothing means anything if what I'm saying right now doesn't mean anything. And I know that. It's a knowing that I have always known. Ever since I came out of my mother's womb, I knew this, but I just didn't know how to express it to people. I didn't know how to be fully honest with myself. I didn't know how to break it all down. It took 38 years for me to know this. Now, I had an inkling of this years ago, but this kind of social zeitgeist and the way that a lot of people that we're living our lives, it's wrong to me. That's why I want to go and I want to go and build something. I want to build a refuge. I want to plant food that I can have on my own. That's what the refuge means for me. The refuge is everything that we are missing. And we all act as though we don't need a refuge. We act like we don't need intimacy. We act like we don't need connection. We act like we don't need a tribe of people. But if you ask me, I don't think that we should have ever left the tribe. Am I the only one that's thinking this? Am I the only one that is seeing what I'm seeing? Am I the only one doing this? Because if I'm the only one, then this is one of the biggest mysteries in the world if I'm the only one that is seeing this. This is something that is even a mystery unto me. And this is why it's so hard for me to see. Here's where the contradiction comes in. There are times where I say, there is a reason for me to be here speaking with other people right now. There is a reason for it. But then the kind of nihilistic aspect, the kind of existential dread in my head tells me that there isn't a reason. And see, even though that holds true, the part that tells me there is no reason for anything, that is basically me saying, I'm done with everything. And it's time to just not even be alive anymore. And I can't think like that, because then I go back to the despair. I go back to the being by myself and everything. I go back to the depression. I go back to all the things that is plaguing me as a person. Even though I know in that there is brutal honesty, like all the things that come with time passing and things happening, I understand that. But what I'm speaking of, I am speaking of what is going on right now, this very moment. And the reason that I am still alive, the reason that I am still on this planet. It's not a thing where I'm thinking that I'm more special than someone, but I am special. I do revere myself. And when I look at you, I do revere you for being here. That means something to me. That means something to me. And see, if it doesn't mean something to someone else, I can't help that. That's out of my control. But yet again, I know that the person that doesn't understand this, more than likely, they are living a life that they really don't want to live. They're trying to be something they're not for other people. They're putting on the daily show, the daily game. They're playing games, so to speak. And I don't want to see, this is what I'm saying. I don't want to say they're playing games. Only they can know eventually if they're really looking into this, if they're playing games with themselves. See, it's not my right to say that they're playing games with themselves. It's not my right to say that. So I have to let it be what it is. And I have to make the choice. Am I going to be honest with myself right now, or am I going to lie? And I'm not going to lie. And I make that choice every single day of my life to be honest with myself. That is my integrity. That is my reverence for my life and other people that think like that. And I just want to say to everybody that's watching this video, not only Rita or whoever on the internet, the reason why I say I don't make this a personal thing is because I am not you and you are not me. I can't tell you how to live. I can't tell you the decision to make or how to act. But if we hold on to that reverence of each other, for each other, with each other, unto each other, because we know that there's something missing. We know there's something missing, yet we will not allow ourselves to be vulnerable with one another. We will not allow ourselves to be at full vulnerability, to expose what is going on in the depths of what makes us this thing and what we're doing and what we're thinking and how we're acting and all that stuff. And until we get to that, thing, to me, it's all fake. It's all phony. It's not real. It doesn't mean anything. There's no solid soil to grow. There's no reverence for it. You see what I'm saying? I can't revere something that is fake. I can't revere something that is phony. I can't revere something that is putting on. I can't revere something that is lying all the time and acting as if it's not that thing. I cannot revere that. And this is why it says, this is what it means, y'all. True love. And the word love, see, everybody interprets the word love as something else. The love that I am talking about is a form of compassion that is raw and real. It doesn't plan anything. You see, it doesn't put on. It doesn't try to be something. It is. It is. It is. It does. It says. It speaks volumes to the real soul, if I have a soul. If I have a soul. So true love drives out all fear. Fear is still going to come. But see, if we're doing what I just said, if we're revering each other and we're honest with each other and we let our yes be yes and our no be no and we respect each other's boundaries and we have loyalty in that and we rest our soul in that, that is when every time the real love there can drive out the fear. Hallelujah. It drives out the fear. And then I have to let it be that. It needs no explanation. I am just the vessel that is speaking this to you. The flesh that you are seeing, yes, even though it may be beautiful, like your flesh is beautiful, it doesn't make me more than you. And then I let it be that. And I live that. And I let that be every day. And then it's on to the next thing. And then whatever comes, it isn't even a practice. It is a knowing within yourself. It is a knowing thing. Once you know this, it can never leave you. It can never leave you once you know this. This will never leave me. For all my days, until death do I part, this won't leave me. It can't leave me. Because it's so instilled in me. It's like when you go to Walmart and you get instilled water. I am instilled in that water. I am the water of life. And I understand, morbid things too. I understand the darkness too, because I've been in the dark. I've been at rock bottom. If I'm being honest with you, I literally just hit another rock bottom because I let fear take over. You see, I didn't drive it out with real love. And I made that mistake again because I started letting all these things just do what they're doing, and I didn't act upon it. You see what I'm saying? And this, besides mental factors playing a part, this is what makes a lot of people depressed and lonely and stressed, because we are not exposing what's really going on in us. Therefore, no one can know. What is hidden in a person is kept a secret, and secrets keep you sick. Expose that. Expose that. See, this is what it says when we are meant to. There is a scripture that says, "Speak your faults unto one another, so that you may be healed." Now, I don't think it says so that you may be healed. I just said that, but see, as I'm going, I'm literally speaking the waters of life. You see what I'm saying? It's poetry. It is what we were meant to be. But do we know this freeness? See, if you know it right now, then you know it. If you know what is being said right now, then you know it, and you're just another vessel like me. But do not put yourself on a pedestal. Do not get prideful. Do not raise yourself above somebody like you're looking down upon them and you're preaching at them. No, it's literally, you're saying this out of your mouth back onto yourself. And those who really acknowledge it and understand it, they're doing the same thing. You see what I'm saying? And that is what I know as an individual. That is the purest form of what a person, an individual can be. There cannot be any other thing than that. I believe in you, but do you believe in me? I have reverence for you, but do you have reverence for me? I respect you, but do you respect me? I love you, but do you love me? I think about you, but do you think about me? You see, this is why some of these words that I have heard in my life resonate with me so much when it says, "I shall never leave nor forsake you." The words of Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not getting religious. I'm not throwing this at you. I'm just saying the words that are there. I will never leave nor forsake you. That means that I will not lie to you. I will be honest with you. Do you see what I'm saying? See, it's not necessarily the doctrine. It's what the words say to you in certain things. I'm just using certain examples. when you say this to yourself and others, what I'm saying is, no matter where you are, I am always with you. I am always there with you. I'm not there with you physically. I'm not there with you in the sense of I'm, reading your mind or your thoughts, or I'm, none of that bogus stuff. It's saying that I understand. I've been there. I've done it. I've lived in the darkness and I've seen the light also. But I don't call myself enlightened. I don't say that I am this higher being than other people, because there is no such thing as higher. When you have a true reverence for one another, there is no such thing as higher. When you have a true reverence and respect for one another, there is no need for higher. Don't you see what that pride does? See, don't we understand that that's what pride means? And saying the higher, this is my higher person and my higher self. Okay, I understand what some people mean by that. You want people to be your reflection. You want people to have a reverence that you have for yourself, and you want that for them also. That's what people are saying, but I don't think we should use it in the terms how we're using it, because it's dangerous. When you say that I'm higher than another person, do you see the problems that causes? Like people that are saying that they are chosen, or they are special, or they are more than. No, that's not the right way to word it. You should say, I have a reverence. I have a knowing myself, and that's what I want to see for you. That's what I want you to know. See, when you're putting yourself on a pedestal and you're lifting yourself up and you're praising yourself and you're revering only you and putting you up here, that means you're looking down upon. That means you're saying, I'm up here, you're down there. And you're comparing in that way. I'm comparing in a way that we are, it's not that, I don't want to use the word equal. It is an understanding of the contradictions of life. It is an understanding of good and bad, right and wrong, too much, too little. When to do this, when not to do this. Yes, no, yes. Let it be what it is. That's what I'm going for to say. Now, I don't want to keep going because I don't want to spoil this session by adding on and adding on and adding on, because that's what I'm starting to do. So I have to stop and let it be what it is, because I don't want to mess up the occasion. But that's what it means to me. And if that doesn't mean something for others, I don't know. I don't know what to do. There's nothing else I can say. I can't feel any other way about it. I can't do anything else. There is nothing else to be said. That is what I rest in. That is what I sit upon. That is what I know. That is what it is. And there's so many other little things that I wanted to get into that I can't get into the whole picture, because you have to understand it's like one big puzzle and the pieces are all over. And in order to get those pieces together, it's an understanding of so many things, and understanding how this whole social zeitgeist is, and how we've been programmed and conditioned to think, and how a lot of people are living, and it's not even how they really want to live. And it's just a lot of things that go into it that it might be hard for some people to understand or discern exactly what I mean, but that is the best that I can do right now. I can't do any better than what I did, because that was pure. That was in the moment. You see what I'm saying? There is no boasting in what I do. I don't have to boast anymore. This is what it means when it says your works are like dirty rags. See, this is what those things are saying. That is what those words mean to me. That is what, when I read something or I interpret it for myself, is what it means. Because when you're working, you're trying to be, you're trying to do something, you're trying to make someone, you're forcing someone. And it isn't a genuine interaction. It isn't a genuine thing. It's not in the moment. It's not exposing what is really going on. And everybody just says, oh no, keep it to yourself. What's the word I'm looking for? Keep everything to yourself. Don't tell people what you're doing. Don't let the world know anything. Detach from everyone. Learn to be your higher self. Learn to be above everybody else. No, that's not reverence. That is not reverence for each other. Saying that I am somehow more than, or I'm more special than, or I'm a chosen person. No, because then you're still putting yourself in a higher situation. You're saying that you're more than, that you're raising yourself up above. And I understand when people do that, but do they really understand what they're doing when they do that? Are you really having reverence for yourself and someone else? Are you taking the situation as it is? Are you looking at reality in reality's view? And are you able to distinguish imagination from reality and reality from imagination? Are you able to discern these things that we're saying and that we're doing? It's a discernment thing too. And listen, when I do this, this is not an attempt to get anywhere, because I'm not getting anywhere. You see, this is not about accomplishing anything. This is not about a goal. This is not about achieving anything. This is about being here now, right now. And fetching out that fear with love, because where there is love, there is no fear. It drives the fear out. And anything that comes up that is making you feel ashamed, or is making you feel guilty, or is making you feel like, oh, I maybe shouldn't have said that, it's false. See, it's falseness. It's the conditioned and programmed falseness that is trying to come back. And it's always doing this. It's a thing that is constantly doing this. It's just coming. It's coming. And people that allow it to keep coming into themselves and into their lives, and they keep speaking about it, they're the ones that are causing it. Do you see what I'm saying here? Am I making sense what I'm saying? That's not the way to deal with it. When we have these things come, we have got to get brutally honest about it. We have to drive it out. You see what I'm saying? Because the secrets will keep you sick. Isolating causes so many problems. It causes people to be depressed and suicidal and all these things. And this is where I really think that if we don't have that in our lives, and it's really strange that I'm telling you this, because I am a hermit and I am by myself all the time. But I understand it. Even though I'm not in that predicament or situation, I understand it. See, this is the paradox of my life. This is the weirdest thing as I'm sitting here telling you this, because I know what it is to be a socialite, and I know what it is to be outgoing, and kind of the person that walks into a room and smiles and gets everything going. I know what that is. And then I know what it is to be at rock bottom and being in a dark place and being addicted to, certain drugs and just all kinds of the opposite way of the light. You know what I'm saying? The light and the dark. I understand both of them. And I understand how both of these things are playing a game with us. See, you're either being played by the game or you are playing the game, or you understand the game that you were playing and is still being played. So anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest and off of my mind. So I will end with saying this. I don't mean to sound creepy or to sound any kind of way when I say this, but I just want to tell everybody out there that wherever you are, I am with you at all times because I understand. If there would be, I'm saying if there would be a spiritual dimension or realm, I am with you in spirit. I'm not with you in the flesh. I'm not with you personally, because I don't believe in being with people personally, because personally is a subjective thing unto every individual. So I can't know you personally and you can't know me personally all the way. There is no such thing. But if we would respect the boundaries, reverence the thing, then that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you leave it at that. And then the next thing that comes, you take it how it is. And there's nothing else you can do. That's all you can do in the moment. That is what I see as freedom in my life. That's what I see as freedom. Does it last? No, it doesn't last, because all these things in the world and life are constantly coming. You see? And if we don't understand that it's coming, then we're not going to understand how to combat it or to know the thing. You see what I mean? And it ain't even about fighting it. It's not about fighting. It's not about even combating it, like I just said. It's about knowing it, knowing that it's there, and having other people that know it with you. That's what means everything in this life. And what's very strange is I'm by myself all the time. I'm not in like with a tribe or anything. But like I said before, I don't think we were ever meant to go outside of the tribe. I think we were meant to be in small tribes of people. And this is what this whole thing has done too, this whole social thing. It has made people more loners. It has made people, they go to work together. They go to work by themselves. They come home by themselves. They do everything by themselves. There's no more communal things going on. There's no sense of reverence for one another, because no one really knows each other, because that's fear. It's a fear thing. Do you see what I'm saying? When you say, oh, these people are strangers, right there, that's fear. That's fear. Because you don't know them. And you probably won't get to know them because you won't let them know what's really going on. And we all do this. We all do this. Even I do it. And I am still going for to understand what I'm doing to myself in these occasions and at these times. If I don't start looking at it myself and I don't start taking it upon myself to understand this, then I'm never going to get it. You see what I'm saying? This is why we need to be reflecting. We need to be self-reflecting. This is not a time for us to be projecting everything onto everybody else. Because if you're doing that, we're never going to learn this. We're never going to know this amongst each other is all I'm saying. And I know when I get into these videos, I know it sounds like I'm preaching. I know it sounds like I'm giving you advice. I promise you that's not what I'm doing. I am just speaking it for how it really is because I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way than that. And this is why I feel so uncomfortable, because if I feel like I'm the one doing this and then others are not doing that too, then that's where this thing comes, this pressure and this not understanding. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm doing my best to tell you how it really is, but I can't say everything how I really want to say it. I'm just doing my best to say it how I know how to say it. So anyway, take care of yourselves. Any support to the channel is really appreciated. That helps me when I'm really in need. So if you have to give, please give if you do. And wherever you are, know that there is somebody that does understand. There is somebody that has a reverence for you. There is somebody that does care. There is somebody. Later.